What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to the BS Show. We've got a lot of updates here in the MMA/UFC world. Things are going crazy and they're moving fast. And one of the first things I wanted to talk about was Khamzat Chimaev is still calling out everybody and their mom. I've posted a picture that he had on his Instagram here, and he was calling out Nick and Nate Diaz. That's right. Khamzat Chimaev has took a jab at the Diaz brothers. He's taking jabs at everybody in the UFC, it seems like, so he's not stopping. This dude is on a trajectory straight to the top, and if he can get a couple big-time wins, one coming up actually against Leon Edwards, if he can get that win against Leon Edwards, it may solidify him to UFC superstardom, and he might very well get a title shot. And maybe if he beats Leon Edwards, he gets a fight with Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz has been wanting to come back and fight. Nate Diaz only takes big-time fights where the money's right. So with Khamzat Chimaev winning, he may get that. Also, Max Holloway is going to be fighting Kattar. I think it's our first big card of the 2021 year. This is absolutely going to be fireworks. We all know Max Holloway. We all know the dude is one of the best featherweights to ever do it. He's coming off back-to-back losses against Alexander the Great, Alexander Volkanovski, who fights down at City Kickboxing. I believe that's in either Australia or one of the other countries down under, like New Zealand. But Kattar is on a tear as well. This dude is on his way to get a title shot, and the only person standing in the way at this point would be Max Holloway. I'm super pumped for this fight. I always love watching Max Holloway fight, and Kattar has climbed up my list dramatically over the past few years. He always shows up to fight. He's so polished. He seems like he's just a genuine guy who wants to fight, who wants to get that belt. And Max Holloway is on the other side of the spectrum. He is trying to get a couple big wins back to possibly get a third match against Alexander Volkanovski. Those were two razor-close decisions, so one would assume he could get back to that. Also, we got Dustin Poirier against Conor Mcgregor coming up, and from what I was reading this morning, they were kind of at a standstill with some contract negotiations, but then I just heard that this is somewhat finalized. They've agreed to it. They've agreed to terms. So this fight is going to be happening, I think, in February, late January, February timeframe. This is a rematch. They fought back, I believe, in 2013 or 14, somewhere around there. Conor McGregor winning. That was a couple weight classes ago, a long time ago. Both fighters are nowhere near what they were then. Obviously, McGregor went on to win 2 belts, becoming the champ. He's had some of the biggest fights in UFC history. But Dustin Poirier is what I'm really impressed with. This dude went on to win the interim belt. He's fought some killers like Khabib Nurmagomedov and lost via decision. He beat Max Holloway. He's beat a lot of very good fighters. So Dustin Poirier today is not who he was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I believe this is going to be at 170, 155-ish or 170. So that will obviously play into Dustin Poirier's favor. So check it out. Chris Weidman's coming back. Chris Weidman versus Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall's coming off a big-time win. This is a kind of an interesting fight for me. I honestly think Weidman is on the back nine of his career. It's nothing against Chris Weidman. The dude's done great things. He came into the UFC. He beat Anderson Silva. He was the champion for a while, but it just doesn't seem the same. I really like Chris Weidman. I just feel like he's just taking fights that make sense, that are winnable for him at this point. So I don't wish anything against the guy. This is still going to be a great fight. Weidman is a former champion. He's a stud. He fights with he trains with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So that, he comes from a good camp. Uriah Hall is always in the mix of things. Uriah Hall is never out of it. He's shown that. He's got great striking. He's a great fighter. He's been around for a while. Look at his record. He's fought some great fighters. Both of these dudes bring it. They show up. They're legends of the sport. So I'm really excited about this. And last but not least, Rafael dos Anjos is coming off a huge win against Paul Felder. Felder stepped in on late notice, I think 5 days, but RDA looked amazing. Now we're thinking, what's next for RDA? Well, I'm hoping that after the Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier thing pans out, maybe we can get an RDA versus Conor McGregor fight. This was supposed to happen back when RDA was the 155-pound champion. I think they did a world tour. They did all this stuff, and then somebody got hurt. I believe it was RDA, so they had to cancel it. So I'm hoping that at the end of this year, we might see RDA versus Conor McGregor because they both won it. So hopefully that happens. But thank you for tuning in, guys. A little bit of an update of what's going on in the UFC world. Leave a comment below what you think. I appreciate your support.